Okay, so this is the next video into the continuation of our FastAPI series, and in this video we will look about the SQLAlchemy alembic. So how to use, what is like alembic, how to use that, and why we have to use that. But before directly jump into, let me activate my environment. And let me show you the code. So this is my code, right? And if you see this line number, base.metadata.create all bind is equal to initial. So within the code we have mentioned that okay, read the metadata and create all the tables on the particular database, right? So we are creating the tables using this command. This command is working perfectly fine, and the tables are getting created as well. But what the disadvantage of this command is, or you can say this approach is, so let's suppose in futures, so in the models.py file we have all the tables which we have defined. So let's suppose in the future you came here, right, and you want to define some new field, right? So let's suppose I want to change the field from admin to supervisor, right? So let's suppose there is a change in this field, and let me save this that field, and let me go to that in the testing. So right now we are using the testing database. Leave this alembic version, so just ignore that. In the user, if you go to the columns, so in the column we have ID field, email field, password field, is active field, right? But we have updated our code, and we have added one more column. So and the column is is active, is admin, so whether the user is admin or not. So we have added this column. Earlier only we have this 4 columns. So you could see in the database we have only these 4 columns: ID, email, password, and is active. But in the future, we go to the requirement from the customer, and the customer told that now we have to incorporate, add one more column into the user table. So what we did is, we will come into the models.py file, we add here is admin, that is one more column, and we save it, right? And we will start our code using the -- reload, because we are running our main file, and within the main file it is written base.metadata.create all. So it is reading the metadata and it is creating the table. So if I run it, so let's wait for a few seconds. So application has been started, but if I go to the database and if I refresh my schema, and I go to the user table and I go to the columns, I could not see the column is admin, which we have added into our models. So why this has not been reflected here? Clear nano main.py file, because here we are mentioning here read the metadata and create all the tables. So for the first time it is fine. So whatever the column name it is mentioned, it will read all the metadata and it will define that. But in the second case, it will read the metadata, even though it find the change the metadata, but the table is already created, so it will not recreate those table. So that's if the table is not getting recreated, then the another table is not getting added. So the one approach is, either you will drop all the tables and then rerun this command. So if you rerun this command, then you have added one more column, and then that column will be get reflected here. But the disadvantage of this approach is, if you drop the table, so you will lost all the data. So we can drop the table in the testing environment, because in the testing environment it contains the test data, so it doesn't matter, we can create the test data again. That is not a very concern for us. But in the production environment, where the data is of actual customers, of actual users, we can't drop the data, right? Because if you drop the table, the data resides in that table will be get dropped. and if we can't drop the data, but we want to add the new column in the user table. But how to do that? Because create all command will not able to like reflect the table, reflect that column. Basically it is just creating the table, and the table already exists. It is not modifying the existing table. So what is the another approach? So the another approach is, so we have the another approach. So we have the Alembic. So Alembic is a like one you can say SQLAlchemy package which work with the Python. So it has various like functions. So it will create the table as well, right? So, but the main function is like of this Alembic module is the migrations. So when I say migration, so migration means let me open the terminal. So when I say migration models, so migrations means so migrate from earlier table to the new table. So earlier table has only 4 columns: ID, email, password, and is active. Now we want the new table which has the column is admin, but when we add the new table we want the same data as is. So we are migrating our databases, you can say. We are not migrating our database from one database to another, that is we are not migrating from PostgreSQL to the Microsoft SQL or SQL server. No, the database remain, underlying database will be the same, but we are migrating our like underlying structures. So earlier the structure has only 4 columns, now we have the like 5 columns. So for that we have to use the Alembic. So if you Google it and if you write SQLAlchemy Alembic, and if you open the first URL, that is alembic.sql, that is the official documentation. If you read the first line, so it is mentioned here, Alembic is the lightweight database migration tool, so, or uses with the SQLAlchemy database toolkit for the Python. So it is like a Python package, and which is used with the SQLAlchemy databases only, right? So it is it can like perform so many operations. So it will create the table. So it doesn't mean that it will only do the migration, it will create the tables as well, but the main purpose is the migrations. Because for the creation, so to create the tables, so why we want the external package? We can like create the tables like with the normal commands, right? Base.metadata create all, that is only one line command. We can create the table with this, but with that command we can't do the migration. Migration is from one schema to the another schema. If there is any change, if we add one column, if we will drop one columns, even if we add like okay, if we add one more table, then the create all table will even detect the table and will do that. But if we change the schema, that will not be done, right? So that's why like, we have to use the Alembic package. So to use the Alembic package, first we have to update our requirement.txt, and we have to update here with the Alembic, and let's save here, and let's install that. Because we have to use the Alembic module, so first we have to update our requirement.txt, and we have to install that Alembic module. So all the requirement got satisfied, but it will install the Alembic. So it has installed the Alembic. So successfully installed Alembic. All right. So Alembic has been installed. Now what next? So if we know how the Alembic will work, what are the various commands, then it is very easy for us to like to do the work with the Alembic. So either you can read this documentation. So this is like basically a tutorial. So if you go to the front matter and you go to the tutorial, so like everything is mentioned here. Or rather than reading the tutorial, you can follow this a simple flow chart. So approximately 70 to 80% of the things like from the tutorial I have covered within this a very simple flow chart. So it is a like SQLAlchemy Alembic. So first step is we have to install the Alembic. So we already did that. We like did the entry into requirement.txt file and we installed that. So this step is done. Then we have to use this Alembic module so that like it will perform the migration. So first step is we have to create the migration environment. Alright, when I say migration environment, so like what generally Alembic will do is like Alembic generally like at the back end it like work in a form of versions. So when I say it will work in a form of versions means, so like let's suppose earlier we have only like 4 columns. Now we are adding the 5 columns. So what it will do, it will save the earlier content as well. So it will like create a one file in which like it will like store the earlier structure. So it means the earlier structure has only 4 tables, and it will create a new version with the 5 columns. And why like we have to like saving the old version, and like why can't we are only saving the new version? Because let's suppose if in future we want to revert to the our old version, so we have the old version file as well. So old version file means we have the like only the file which contains only like 4 columns. So we have that file as well, so we can revert to that file as well. So if we don't want is admin column in near future, we can remove that as well. So just we will like use the old version. So it works in a form of version, but where it will store versions or like so many configuration files, right? So there is a place where it will store that everything, right? So when I say create the migration environment, means we have to create that place. So we will not create that place manually. So place means you can say a kind of a folder. So where is the folder where it will save all those versions? So we have to create that folder, but we will not create that folder manually. So there is a command. So the command is alembic.ini. So alembic.ini means initialize, and then the folder name. So whatever the folder name you want to like create, you can give that. Let's suppose I give the migrations, or you can give alembic, or you can give abc, efgh, any folder name you can give that. So it will create an environment, and when I say environment, it will create a folder and subfolder as well. So install alembic is done. Now we have to create an environment. So environment means we have to create a folder where it will like store everything. So to work here like for the further commands, it needs the environment. So let's create the environment. Okay, so the command is alembic. So right now we don't have like, we have only these folders, right? So let's create alembic init, right? And let's suppose like I gave the folder name as migrations, right? As soon as I hit enter, it will just create the folders. That's it. It will not touch the tables, it will not touch the database. It is just creating the environment. And when I say create the environment, it is just creating the folders. That's it. So if you read the command, it is creating a directory, it is creating a directory, it is generating some files, it is creating the directory. That's it. It is not touching even database, it is not reading the metadata, nothing like that. It is just creating a directory structure. So what all folder it created? So it will create the migrations folder, it will create the versions, it will create the alembic.ini file, it will create the env.py file. But why it is creating these so many files? What are the like use of all these files? So let's look that. So if I do ls, so earlier we don't have the migrations folder, now we have the migrations folder, because in the command we told the alembic initialize it. When it initialize it, create a migration environment, but which name, by which folder name it will create the environment? So we give migration. So this is not a like you can give any name, alembic, abc, efgh, any name you can give, right? So it create this migration folder. Along with that, it create this alembic.ini file. So it created in the outer directory, it created these two things, alembic.ini file and migrations folder. If I go to the migrations folder and do ls, under the migrations folder it creates so many other things. That is the versions folder, script.py file, .meko file. So meko is like a kind of one more extension, like .py file is for the Python, meko is also the Python module. So that meko, readme, a normal readme, env.py file, a normal py files, right? So it created that, all right? So let's understand what is alembic.ini, what is migrations, and what are all these. So only these folders it created. So what all folder it created? Migrations. So migrations created. Versions. So within the version we have the, within the migration we have the version. Alembic.ini. So at the outer folder we have the alembic.ini. env.py file, we have the env.py file. Script.py.meko, script.py.meko, and the readme. So we have the readme, right? So readme is just a normal readme. So nothing is like that. So just a readme file. Versions. So nothing is in the version. So it is empty. So versions is the basically directory because it will like store the version. So when we like earlier we have the 4 columns, right? Now we are trying to create a 5 columns, so it will store 2 versions, one version which has the 4 columns and one version which has the 5 columns. So it and let's suppose in the near future we will add few more columns, then it will create a one more version. So anytime we can like move to any version. So those files will be stored into the versions folder. Okay, version folder is done. Now let's look at the alembic.ini file. So nano alembic.ini. So alembic.ini file is, you can say, is a kind of a configuration file, not a configuration, but when we run any command, so we are running alembic command. So to use the alembic modules, we are running the alembic commands. To run the alembic commands, so where it will store the versions, where it will store like everything. So how it knows that? So ini is, you can say, a kind of a configuration like database configuration like file. So it told that like script location is the migrations folder. So they are saying that okay, we have the migrations folder, you need to check the migrations folder. And why it has migrations folder? Because we have the migration folder. If we create with the like alembic init alembic, then you will say like here the folder name will be changed alembic. So many things like here, like what is the database URL, like when it create the table, like which database like it will create the table, like where it will create the tables, because like which database we are, whether we are using SQLite, whether you are using MS SQL, whether we are using PostgreSQL, so which database. So by default it writes some like any like a random DB name, but we have to override it. So basically like it is like containing some kind of like information which alembic needs to execute its command, right? So let's update the information. So first we need the like we are using the PostgreSQL, so we have to update this SQLAlchemy.url. So rather than updating this, let me comment this and let me add alchemy.url. So we are using the PostgreSQL. Let me show you. So where like in the configuration.py file, so this is our database URL, right? So the same thing like we have to like define here. So what you will do, so from the SQLAlchemy.url we will like do PostgreSQL : then username Postgres, then password Postgres, then @localhost, then port 5432, then database, or our database name is testing. So we have like defined the connection as well, right? Because when we run the command, it will create the tables, because we will not it will create the table, it will modify the table, it will alter the table, it will delete the table, anything, whatever it will do. So it will do everything. So it should know like in which database I have to do all these things. So in the ini file we have to like mention that. So we have mentioned that like our like database URL. Okay, so let's save that. So alembic.ini is done. Now let's look at the other files. So now we have the env.py file. So let's look at the env.py file. So env.py file is, you can say it is another kind of a like a py file, or you can say a kind of a configuration file only, like which will run like when we run some commands, which command it will run. So they have like predefined some functions here. So they have like offline function and the online function. So offline functions means, so let's suppose like when we run the command and our database is not up, then run migrations offline automatically will run. But let's suppose if our database is like up and running, then run migrations online will be run automatically internally. I am telling you, but you will not like run manually this. So here like automatically like they are mentioning, if the context is offline, then run the offline, then if the context is online, then run the online functions. So this is a very like a basic file, but this is the main field, that is the target metadata field. So target metadata is basically, if we want to like, we are saying that but how the alembic will know like which column, because we will add a new column, or we will modify any new column into the models.py file. but how the alembic know like which column I have added, which column I have removed, what changes I have done. All right, so let me again show you. So nano main.py. So here we have the base, we have the metadata. So we are reading the metadata and we are creating all the tables. So metadata is reading all the tables from the models.py file, because in the model.py file we have defined the base, so automatically it will read the base file. So similarly to the alembic, we have to inform from where it will read that metadata. So we have to inform that as well. Right, how it knows that from where I need to know the where you have defined the table structure. So we have to define the metadata here. Okay, so that is also done. So now the only one file is left, that is the script.mako file. So mako, if you Google it, what is mako? Mako file type. So developer file used by Mako, a Python template engine, may contain both text and the statement written in the Mako language compiled into the Python module, which can be invoked in the Python program to output a filled template most used for the auto generating web pages. So what is a Mako file? So it is a kind of a template. So what it will do is right here, so they have created some template here. It will here the message will become, here the revision ID will become, here the revised create date, some imports are coming. Let's suppose we don't want to write our code, but we want to dynamically generate our code, Python code. So to dynamically generate our Python code, we should have some template. So a standard template. So the standard template, to write the standard template, we use the Mako file. So when we run some commands, automatically it will read this Mako template and it will generate our Python code. Right. So what it will do, when I will show you in the just after a few seconds. So it will read this Mako file and automatically it will put wherever you see the dollar symbol, everything it will put here. Alright, so we have read look at the Mako file. So everything is done. Now what next? So our environment is ready. So let me close this. So our environment is ready. So environment is just basically means where it will store the versions. Along with that, we will update the alembic.ini file. So which database it will connect. So we have defined the update the alembic.ini. Now we have the two options. One option is whether you want to manually create the scripts or whether you want to fully automated scripts. Manually and fully automated is whether you will manually type everything okay, I have added this column, I have deleted this column, I have modified this column, whether you manually do this or whether you want Alembic should do that. Alembic automatically read your models.py file, Alembic automatically do that everything for you. So we have two options, either you can go with this path or either you can go with the below path. So I will show you both the paths. So let's go with the manual steps. So for the manual steps, what we have to do, we have to run this command alembic revision, and then we have to give some message with the command -m and then some message name. So let's run that command, alembic revision -m, and let's me give some command initial. Alright, so I have enter that command. So they told that okay, you have entered that command. Now I have created some initial so if I go to the migration, if I go to the version, if I do ls, now you could see one version is created. If I do 4c, so initial version is created and it is same as of our Mako file. So this py file is creating from the Mako file, because in the Mako file, let me again show you. So this is the same file, first we have the quotes and the message. Where is that file? Yeah, first we have the codes and the message, then we have the revision id, revises creation date, revision id, revises creation date, then we have some imports, then we have like this revision number, then we have upgrade and a downgrade, then we have the upgrade and downgrade. So if we want to generate some Python code automatically from some template, then we have to use the .mako file. So that's why they have provided the Mako file, because they are like creating these versions like using these files. Okay, so let me close this. Okay, so now we have like def upgrade and def pass. So def upgrade means like here I have to mention everything, like so using the alembic module. So alembic is like imported as op, so we will use op dot create table, because upgrade means let's create the table, downgrade means upgrade means let's suppose we have the 4 columns up and we are upgrading it and we are like adding one more column, so then we will run the upgrade function. But let's suppose now we have the 5 columns, we want the previous version, then we will use the downgrade function. So manually means we have to define everything. So op dot create table, then create table name, users name, then the column name. So everything we have to define manually here. So one approach is this. So this is very like not a like a useful approach, because like otherwise why we are using the like alembic? If we have to do everything like manually, then what is the use of alembic? So let me close that and let me remove that version. Remove 4. So now we don't have anything, so I have removed that version as well. So one approach is this, all right. Okay, but what is the other approach? So other approach is automatically generate everything for us. So because when we see our 2 function, upgrade and the downgrade, but upgrade and downgrade function both are empty, so it is not reading the data. So we have to so we want automatically it will read our metadata, and automatically it will create statements, right? So if we want to read the metadata, so first we have to update the env.py file. So here is the target metadata. So they have mentioned if you want to auto generate the scripts, then we have to update this line. Otherwise, if you are doing manually, then leave this field as is. So we want to update this file. So how to read the metadata? Base dot metadata. So we read the metadata like in this form, because if you look at this file, nano.main.py. So how we are reading the metadata? Base dot metadata, and then we are using the create all command. But rather than the create all command, we are using the alembic. So we just need the metadata. Rest everything will be done by the alembic. So how to read the metadata? Using the base dot metadata. But we have to import the base as well. So we are importing the base as well from models import base. So here we have to type from models import base. Yeah, that's it. So this is run. So if you so we have to update our target metadata into the env.py file. So this step is done. Now we can issue the same command with some extra parameter, that is minus auto generate. So let's run the same command, alembic revision. Now we have to some extra parameter, because we are auto generating the script. So if we like auto generate, it automatically read the env.py file, and within the env.py file it will read the metadata, and after reading the metadata only it will know, okay, what all the tables name, what all the columns name it has. So metadata, then give some message. Let's give some message as initial. So I have run this command. Let me run this command. Okay, can't locate revision identified by. Okay, why this error is came? Because let me show you. So we have to update a few things more. Nano alembic.ini file. So in the alembic.ini file, nothing in the alembic.py. In the migrations, ls nano.env.py file, nothing in the environment.py file. Nanoscript.py file, nothing in the script.py file. cd versions ls. So nano readme, nothing. So like what basically like happen is because we earlier issue this command like alembic revision and -m initial without the auto generate. So it created like some version, like we have manually delete that version, right? So but it created some version, right? So what will happen is like it created some version, and that's why like this issue is came, can't locate revision identified by this. So let me copy this and let me Google it. So if there is any fix, because I am unable to find this, could not locate revision identified, so it is a stack overflow. Delete your alembic version. So we have to delete the alembic version as well. You delete the migration directory, but the version has been saved in the database. So you have to delete the version info into the database run. Okay, because we have set up the, we have to delete this. One minute. Let me, I have deleted that. Yeah, so now it automatically like recognize few things. So if I go to the migrations, ls cd versions ls, now we have the version nano 3. So you could see like upgrade and the downgrade functions. So why like only this will recognize, because our table structure already exists into the database items and the users. The only structure we are adding added is column. So that's why like it is like recognized only is admin column, right? And if we want to like go back to the previous previous version, then we have the downgrade, then we can like drop the is as well. So because we have the tables already with us, so that's why like it created like this script, but now the scripts are getting automatically generated, right? So but before that let me remove that ls rm36 and ls remove pi cache rm minus r. So we don't have anything, and from here if we refresh it, so automatically here na alembic dot one version table get created. So if you click on this table, so let me delete this, and let me delete the items as well. Let me delete the user table as well. Alright, so we have deleted everything, and let me refresh everything. So if you go to the tables, we don't have anything here. Okay, and nothing is there. Yeah, so hope everything is okay. 1 minute, let me cross check. Yeah, everything is looks okay. Let me remove that as well. Yeah, so cd versions ls minus a. We have some hidden files here, so we have to remove that. How to remove the hidden files? Give me few minutes. ls minus la is the command, then the file path, but we don't able to see the file name. So rm minus rfv, then dot slash refusing to remove dot, or not sure. I think this will create the issue. Anyhow, let me, because we have everything now ready, so let me rerun the command. Alembic revision minus minus auto generate minus m initial. Yeah, so cd migrations ls, cd versions ls nano 9c. So now we could see automatic, like our script has been generated. Like otherwise we have to write op dot create table user, then column, everything we have to write. Now everything has been generated for us, but only the script has been generated. But here we still, like, we don't have anything. So we don't have still anything. So in the tables we only have the alembic version, we don't have the actual table, that is the user table. So what is the next step? So next step is to apply this script. So if you look my documentation, so if you like, there are two approaches, whether you manually write the script or whether you automatically generate the script. So what option we will prefer? We will automatically generate the script. So our script has been now automatically generated. So we have to create the table. So create table means we have to upgrade it. If we have to like delete the tables, then we have to use the downgrade functions. Now we have to perform the upgrade functions. So what we will do, alembic upgrade and then head means the particular version number, that is the current version number. Whatever is the latest version number, you can give the head. Otherwise you can mention the version number as well, that is like this version number. right? So you can give this version number as well, but I am giving head. So head means automatically it will like pick the latest version. So if I click enter, so it will like created the table. So let me refresh it. And now I am able to see the items table and the user table. So let's suppose now my requirement is, so in my user table we have the is-admin, but my now requirement came is I don't want this is-admin table, is-admin column. So what I will do is I will remove this admin table, right? I have removed this admin table. Now I will like rerun this command, revision -- auto generate. Auto generate means like generate a new script, -m remove is admin column. So give some useful message, auto generate. Yeah, oh, I am running it wrong, because I have to run here because I am in the virtual environment. Alembic revision -- auto generate -m remove is admin column. So automatically it detected that this column has been removed, right? And hopefully it is created the script as well. So now we have two scripts. One is the old script, one is the like a new script. One is the initial script, one is this the new script, remove is column. So if I look at this column 4a, so now in the upgrade, so upgrade means we are dropping the column, and if we want to go back to that, then it means we have to adding that column back again. So now we are like dropping the column. So if we want to drop the column, we have to apply this script. So how to apply this script? Alembic, we have to run the upgrade function, because the upgrade has the drop column. Then head means the latest. So now it has been done. So let's check whether our column has been deleted or not. So in the users column, now we are able to see only 4 columns. Is admin column has been deleted. So this is the main advantage for the Alembic. So now we don't need this. So we can comment this because we are using Alembic migrations. So now we don't need this line anymore. So we have commented this. So this is like the Alembic, how to use that. So what are the various commands, what are the like various types, like, so where we have to update, when we have to update env.py file. If we have to run the manually, then we don't have to update the env.py file. If we use the auto generated, then we have to update the env.py file. When we have to update the alembic.ini file. So everything like I have like explained in this. So along with that, like Alembic upgrade head, so rather than the head, you can use like Alembic upgrade +1, +2, +3, like similarly Alembic upgrade -1, -2, -3. -1 means previous one per version, -2 means like previous to previous version, -3 means previous to previous version, right? So you can like use this command as well. But one thing I note to that, so there is a note. So auto generate is not intended to be perfect. So though you are generating the script, so let me show you cd migrations, cd versions ls nano 4a. Though you are like generating the script automatically, that's using the auto generate features, but it is always recommended that you should, before actually applying the scripts, because it is just like it is generate the script, but to actually apply the script we are using the Alembic upgrade head. Upgrade means like we are calling the upgrade function, or either if we want to like downgrade it, then we can like downgrade the function, like we have to downgrade Alembic downgrade. But it is always recommended to cross verify this this script, because Alembic is not 100% perfect, even though from like from time to time, from various version to version, a few improvement is like doing, but it still has like a few drawbacks. even like in the comment they have mentioned commands auto generated by Alembic, please adjust. So you have to cross verify those commands rather than blindly issue those commands, right? So this is the main thing which we have to like cover, because there are few things which Alembic did not like read from the metadata. Write the table name. If I change the table name, then it will not read that. So you have to manually like write that command. So you have to manually adjust the. If we not use the auto generate option, then we have to write everything. But if you use the auto generate option, most of the thing will be ready for us. So 99% of the thing ready for us. So 99% of the things you don't need any changes. But still you have to verify that if there is any change. So you have to do that manually. Okay. So yeah. So that's the end of the video. Thank you.